being aware that if certain thoughts take control of this mind and body, then you're going to end up creating the thing that ultimately you're thinking about. We've all had the experience before where I'm sure if you've ever been say like up on a platform, or I've done the slacklining a few times, if you know what that is, but you need to like stay focused on where it is that you want to go. If you spend your time thinking I'm going to fall, we all know what happens. You know, straight away you're like wobbling everywhere and you fall. So we really want to stay for what we do want and be aware where thoughts are creeping in about what we don't want, and then start to practice letting those go. But we'll talk a little bit more about purpose and how perhaps meditation can be a tool that helps you to uncover more of your purpose. We'll talk more about that in a moment. But for now, let's do a little meditation practice together, just to help us arrive into the space. Now, if you've done the earlier sessions with me, then we're going to do that meditation practice where we're focusing in on the hands. Now, the reason why we do this is that the body, this physical body, is always in the here and in the now. So it is like an object for our minds to become present with. Because our minds are so powerful, we can be all up in our thoughts, we can be thinking all sorts of things, we can be jumping ahead. And as helpful as that can be in some instances, so thinking about a vision and what it is, imagining our minds an outcome we desire, actually we need to also be within this present moment, because this present moment is all you have. This moment right now is all we have. And what we do with this moment, there's a Marcus Aurelius quote where something along the lines of, what we do in this moment like echoes through eternity. So all we have is this present moment. So let's get connected to this present moment and this physical body by focusing. So I'll guide you once more. And if you want to get yourself comfortable, so wherever you are, you know your body best. If you are able to sit up nice and straight, that's really helpful, because that straight spine can really help invite a quality of alertness. So we're not slouching too much, or the body's not all kind of lazy. So just taking a moment to sit upright for a moment. And with the hands, you can either have them just resting perhaps on the tops of your thighs, or if it's comfortable for you to do so, you can actually have the palms facing up to the sky, so flipped up and resting on top of the lap. Okay, so I'll guide you for a short while, and we're going to do some deep breathing to begin with. And once again, you listen to your body, you feel what's right for you. I'm offering up guidance when it comes to breath and the breathing, but ultimately listen to your body and what feels right. Okay, so we'll gently close the eyes now and start to settle down into the space, feeling the body sat wherever you are, gently closing the eyes as our first practice will begin. And we're going to start with taking some nice deep breaths. So we'll breathe in through the nose, inhale in through the nose, and breathe deep into your stomach, imagining the belly or the stomach expanding. And exhale out through the mouth. Very good. We'll do a few more of those. Nice deep breath in through the nose, deep into a soft, rounded belly. Out through the mouth. Nice deep inhale again, in through the nose. Breathe deep into that belly. And exhale out through the mouth. Nice deep breath once more. You're doing really well. in through the nose, deep into the belly, and exhale out through the mouth. Very good. Final breath now. Nice deep inhale in through the nose, deep into the belly, and exhale out. Very good. Well, now allow the breathing to return back to normal. And just taking notice of any sensations, maybe some lightheadedness. And that's just the body's systems adjusting to all that extra oxygen coming in. And those sensations will start to melt away, start to soften. And we're going to encourage the attention of the mind. Focus inwards. So instead of our mental energy and attention being on our external environment or caught up in our thoughts, we'll let that all go for now and focus in on the hands resting in the lap. What sensations can you feel in the hands? What sensations are there in the hands? Just taking a moment to observe what sensations are there. For example, do the hands feel heavy, resting in the lap? Feeling them resting on the thighs. Just noticing whatever sensations are there. Do the hands feel light, maybe? Is there heat in the hands? Maybe coolness. Just noticing, staying with it. If the mind's wandering off, which it will do, that's okay. We just gently bring the mind back to being curious and focusing in on the hands. Maybe you can feel a gentle tingling in the hands, a gentle, radiant sensation. Just connecting in, allowing the mind to build that connection with the hands through noticing, being interested in the sensations. Just for a moment longer, you're doing so well. The mind can often dance around a lot, but we're just inviting the mind to settle down now and settle down into the hands. Maybe you can't really feel anything at all, and that's okay. You're welcome to very gently wiggle the fingers, actually, just a very gentle movement. How does that feel? Inviting the hands to come to stillness once more, but noticing if maybe you can more clearly feel the hands now, more clearly see them in your mind's eye. Just staying there just for a moment longer. Very good, well done. Excellent. Gently come out of this first practice. So keep the eyes still closed, but start to bring a bit of movement back into the body. So wiggling, moving the fingers, perhaps gently moving the feet. And then when you're ready, Just very gently opening the eyes, just taking your time, allowing the light to come back in. Very good, well done. So that's just our first practice together. And that practice is really helpful for just bringing the mind into the present moment. Now, if your mind was like, I don't want to do that, and was jumping around with different thoughts, or maybe other parts of the body, maybe you were moving quite a bit, that's completely fine. Do you know, meditation is really like an art, a science, a skill that is helping us to become aware of how this moment. Things like relaxation that come with meditation, that's almost like a byproduct. It's not something that we're trying to force into being. With meditation, we're not pushing away our thoughts or trying very hard to, I must be relaxed. Because by the very nature, of that tension there, and it's wishing things, wanting them to be different. And actually, the power of meditation is in cultivating awareness, that awareness of how you are in this moment. So maybe your experience was that you were able to settle down just a little bit, and that you were able to feel some sensations in the hands. And if you could feel sensations in the hands, well, this is actually feedback that we're getting from the body. We're using the attention of the mind. Even though we have our eyes closed, we're becoming curious about what's going on in the hands. And actually, this is your nervous system starting to fire up gently. So some people often feel like the hands are heavy. Some people feel like the hands feel quite light. Other times, people report back their hands seem to disappear. They can't feel them at all. Now, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. All this is feedback. And we're practicing, that's why it's called meditation practice. We're practicing bringing the mind to focus in on a specific part of our physical experience. So in this case, the hands. And obviously, if the mind's wandering off, that's okay. We do our best to keep bringing it back. But that point about feedback, we can connect that back to that quote at the start from Michael Jordan about how, he failed over and over again in his life, and that's why he succeeded. So that's just feedback, isn't it? So we can start to, with meditation practice, play around with focusing the attention of the mind on different objects of our experience in life and look to observe them just as they are. So not to get emotionally involved in it, to say, hey, now, can I feel the hands? What's happening there? And if you can't really feel them, that in itself is still an experience that you're witnessing. And if we're going, oh, I can't feel the hands, and getting frustrated, then we're starting to enter into what you might call reactivity. So the mind is wandering off and you're starting to engage in certain types of thinking. So that's why when we notice the mind's wandering off, we let those things go and come back to focusing on the hands. So in a moment, we're going to do another practice where we'll build on that a little bit more again. But we're going to shift our attention now to different parts of the body when we do that. And that can also be interesting because sometimes the mind likes to roam around, and other times the mind may still be very busy. But we'll just do our best and see what happens. But before we start that, I wanted to check in again about this point of purpose. And I would love for you to, if you've got pen and paper nearby, if you haven't got one, feel free to run and get one now. But I would love for us just to write down some thoughts together. Now, these are just for you. They're not for anyone else. And the reason why we're doing this is it can be helpful just to see what comes up. And when it comes to purpose, these are some big words that get thrown often when we make actual understanding. You know, if you had to define purpose to someone, you may sort of come up on the spot with a definition, but like, what does it mean to you? So I was reflecting upon this in preparation for today. And for me, purpose is the reason why you're here. I've got my my notes I was making earlier. Purpose is the reason why you are here, not just here on this call with me now, although it's interesting because maybe we can uncover more of your purpose together. But yeah, why are you here? What is it about this life, this experience, this journey of life that you deeply connect with, that you want more of? What do you love? What do you love doing? So I would love for you just to write down on your bit of paper, just asking yourself this question: why am I here? Why am I here? And then to also write down, what do I love doing? What do I love doing? Because often these things are linked. And you may have heard people say, you know, do what you love. And it's like, can I just eat cake for my whole life? That's not my purpose, but sometimes my tummy tells me it is my purpose. But it's such a beautiful thing to give yourself permission to be like, what do I love doing? And what makes me really happy? Also, what am I good at? You know, what things, you know, are basically your gifts. Each one of us in life is completely unique. But yes, there is so much more that unites us, and there's this beautiful commonality between us all. But you are totally, uniquely, awesomely individual. There's a quote shared with me in a passage last week where it was talking about how we are all divinity individuated. Now, whether you are a religious person or not, having faith in life is so important. Faith in yourself and giving yourself permission to respect yourself, to see yourself as this extraordinary human being, and to be, you know, in awe of being alive here now, especially at this time. And with so much happening in the world right now, it can be so easy to get drawn into the heavy emotions connected with a lot of these big changes or big challenges coming up. But what if this was all some bigger shift taking place, enabling us to grow, to let go of the old, to let go of the things that aren't serving us, and to create space in our lives for the things that not only make us happy, but allow us to serve others as well. I believe so much of people. And with the work I do, I have the absolute pleasure of talking to people often about their hopes and their dreams. Like, what do you really want from life? What makes you happy? What makes you excited? And I'll let you in on a little secret. Nearly all of these people deep down want to do something that helps others. How that's ultimately expressed is so different. You know, some people want to to help people through cooking, as in like cooking amazing food that brings people joy. Some people love creating artwork and want to express their purpose through their artwork. Some people love competitive sports, and using this mind and body to excel and push themselves beyond what they ever thought was possible. And in doing so, they bring a lot of joy to themselves and others. There's so much we could do with this life. But with so much choice, it can sometimes be a bit overwhelming, right? And we don't want to mess it up. And we get all caught up in our own thoughts, thinking like, oh, I don't really know what I should do. Should being a key word there. Wanting to please other people, wanting to please our family, satisfy their ambitions and desires. But very often in life, or always in life, someone else's ambitions and desires, they're not yours. They're not. So what are yours? What are your hopes, dreams, ambitions? It can be so wonderful that people want what's best for us. They may have good intentions, but what ends up happening, this is not to be critical of those who offer us advice or who try to steer us in the right direction, but it's just to have an awareness that if we are dependent on other people to guide us continuously through life, to tell us what is right, to tell us good, what we should be doing, what's best for us, what's the safest route, then we end up not listening to ourselves. We end up not hearing that little voice within us that reveals to us our deepest desires. And with meditation, we are practicing in that moment, letting everything else go and coming home to the body, bringing that mental focus and awareness to focus in. And as we practice that little voice, your intuition, whatever you want to call it, your consciousness, you can start to tap into that. A friend of mine often says, that heart's desire, that intuition, that consciousness, it's like a quiet little voice in a really loud bar or restaurant. And, for the longest time, you've been maybe focusing on the loud voices of the people. How are you supposed to hear it? So what we're doing is we're emptying the room out of people and things, with meditation. We're finding somewhere quiet for us to sit. We're learning just to be with ourselves. We're not on our phones for a minute, put that down, find somewhere nice and quiet. And then over time, that little in the corner of the bar or restaurant, we start to take notice of what it's saying. So with those questions we wrote down earlier, about why are you here and what is it that you love to do? You don't need to write things down now, but I would really love for you to play around with those questions every day. And sometimes they can feel a bit scary when we ask ourselves if we haven't done this for a while, or maybe we can't remember the last time we did it. And so maybe not much will come up, or we feel a bit lost. And that's okay. That's to be expected at first. But just like any new skill, it will come with time. Just like me and my mediocre guitar playing, with time and with practice, that will come to the forefront, that will become stronger and better. And so will your ability to tap into your intuition and using that as your guide. So don't be dissuaded or disheartened if in the first instance, when you ask yourself, like, why am I here? What do I love doing? And you kind of draw a blank. That's okay, because these are some big questions. But through repetition, with asking yourself every day, well, what do I love doing? Then what answers will hopefully come. Well, I know they will come to the surface. Have faith in you, and trust that the answers are there. You just need to uncover them. Lovely. So then let's do another meditation practice together. So this time round, we're going to be, as I said before, we're going to come into the hands again. So we're going to bring our mental focus and awareness to come back on the hands. And then we're also going to practice like zooming out. So imagine almost you've got a camera and you're like, and you can zoom out to see the body sat as a whole, as in its entirety. And then we're going to zoom back in briefly and we'll focus on the feet. And then we might come back to the hands, depending on how we feel. But I'll guide you once more and just go with the flow. You know, we're just practicing doing these things. And with the attention of the mind, sometimes the mind is very compliant and the mind will follow our invitation. And other times the mind's got other plans and and it wants to be everywhere else. So we're just becoming aware of our experience, and all is welcome here. So once again, if you want to just get settled in your chair or wherever you're sitting, if you like, you can have your feet flat on the ground. You don't need to be sat cross-legged in meditation unless you want to. And we'll invite that nice long straight spine once more. And we will do the breaths again at the beginning. And on the final one, I'll ask you to just gently hold the inhale. So we'll just hold the breath just for a short moment. But when we're holding the breath, we don't want the body to be really, really tight. I'd love for you to imagine like you're holding a bunch of flowers. You know, there's that just enough of that holding there to keep them upright, but not so much that you're like crushing the flowers. Gentleness. But once again, you know your body best. So if that doesn't feel comfortable for you, that's completely fine. You can just breathe as normal, whatever feels right for your body. Okie dokie. So once again, having your hands resting in the lap, either palms facing up to the ceiling or resting face down, just do whatever feels best. And we'll gently close the eyes now, or to lower and soften your gaze as this meditation practice will begin. We're going to start with our deep breaths once more. So let's exhale to begin. Now breathe in through the nose, deep into a soft, rounded belly. And exhale out through the mouth. Nice deep breath in through the nose, breathing into the stomach. And exhaling out through the mouth. Very good, you're doing great. Nice deep breath once more in through the nose. Breathe deep into that belly. And exhale out through the mouth. A few more now. Nice deep breath in through the nose. Imagine that air going into the belly. And exhaling out through the mouth. Final breath now, and we'll hold on the inhale. So a nice deep breath in through the nose, and then gently hold with that full breath, like holding those flowers. Just gently drop the shoulders. And then when you're ready, exhaling out through the mouth. Very good, well done. Now allow the breathing to return back to normal. Just noticing any sensations. If you're experiencing lightheadedness, that's okay. It's very common. It's just the body adjusting from all that extra oxygen coming in. And we're going to invite the attention of the mind, so our mental focus, that awareness, to focus inwards on the hands resting in the lap. And to help us focus inwards, We'll see what sensations you can feel. Allowing the mind to let go of thoughts. Allowing the mind to become curious and interested in the hands. Just staying with it. Noticing if any disturbances are pulling at your attention, just letting that go. Being patient, having patience and understanding if things aren't as you would like them to be. Focusing in on the hands, resting in the lap. Can you feel heat or tingling? Maybe a gentle vibrancy. Just staying with the hands just for a moment longer. Do the hands feel heavy or light? Just gently staying with it. Noticing if the mind's wandering off, or there's feelings of impatience. Just letting that go. And we'll now invite the mind to zoom out. So we'll look to observe the body sat wherever you are. So in your mind's eye, being able to see the posture, to see the physical body, just taking notice of it, the whole of the body sat wherever you are. Noticing if we can relax a little bit more. Maybe let go a little bit. Not needing to hold on too much. Just noticing if any parts of the body are pulling at your attention, or if there's any thoughts that are bringing the awareness to be pulled away. And we'll look to zoom back in now with the awareness, with the attention of the mind, but we'll focus on the feet. So taking a moment to allow the mind to connect to the feet. If you like, you can very gently move the toes or wiggle the toes, almost like the toes are waving hello to the mind. Inviting the feet to come into stillness now, but just noticing if you can more clearly feel and see the feet in your mind's eye now. Just noticing whatever sensations are there. If your feet are flat on the ground, can you feel the texture of the floor underneath you? Even through shoes, we can often be aware of the sensations underfoot. Just staying in the feet just for a moment longer. Do the feet feel cold or warm? If there's socks on the feet, can you feel the texture of the material even? Just being curious just for a moment longer. Stay with it. You're doing so well. And we'll now invite the attention of the mind to expand out once more. So we'll zoom out again. So we'll let go of the feet And look to observe, to notice the body sat in its entirety once more. Can you notice the clothes resting on the body, becoming aware of the fabric, the textures as they make contact with the skin? Is the clothing loose or light in certain areas? Just noticing, not judging or telling stories. We're taking a moment to visualize the clothes, to see them in our mind's eye. Just staying with it just for a moment longer. See what else you can notice about the body sat wherever you are. Inviting the body to be lovely and still. Any movement or fidgeting really dropping away. And just for a moment now, I'll invite you to let go of everything. So the mind no longer needs to stay focused on the body or the feet or the hands. And the mind can be completely free, can go where it wants, think what it wants to think. And I'll fall silent for a few moments and just observe the mind and what it does. Observe the mind with the invitation of freedom. Very good, well done. Now, as we're coming towards the end of this meditation practice, I'll invite you just to be aware for a moment of the quality of the mind right now. Is there still a lot of chatter in the mind? Perhaps a lot of planning, thinking, or perhaps the mind is beginning to settle down now, and there's a bit more space between the thoughts. And how about the physical body? Maybe you've been able to relax the physical body a bit more, letting go of any tension. And if there's still areas of tension in the body and holding, then that's okay. So as we start to lift out of this meditation practice, I invite you just to gently move the hands now and start to move the feet. And when you're ready, just very gently opening the eyes, just taking your time, letting the light come back in. Very good, well done. So that can be a bit of an interesting meditation, because we are shifting that mental focus. So we started with the hands, and then we went out to look at the body, and then we came into the feet, and then we came back out again. And this is a Great skill to practice, the zooming in and zooming out, because we can start to be aware of all these different things going on in different parts of the body. And as I shared before, sometimes the mind is obedient and will follow our directions, almost like a spotlight. It will just shine on different parts. And other times, you may have experienced your mind is like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my own thing. And the mind's a bit defiant. But once again, that's okay. It's just practicing doing this. Pardon me. So then, what has this got to do with purpose and vision? Well, when it comes to purpose, and I asked you earlier, what do you love doing? How do you know what you love to do? You know it because it feels good. It makes you feel good. You feel this sense in the body, you feel like relaxed, or you feel excited. You're mentally engaged, you're focused, you're open. So these are very much experiences that we have with the mind and body together. When you're doing the things that you love, like, your whole presence is involved. And going back to that point earlier about failure and failure being times when we're not in harmony with what we'd like things to be like, well, then perhaps we can view what we love as being things that we're in harmony with. Like the people that you love in your life are probably people that you have a deep affinity with, and there's that harmoniousness. Sometimes we can have people in our life where maybe they're so different to us, but perhaps like music, two very different notes when brought together can make an amazing sound. But often, we can sense when things aren't in harmony. We have this intuitive knowing, like, oh, it doesn't feel good. So when we were doing that practice together, then, focusing on the hands, then zooming out to the body, then coming into the feet, all of that is helping you to develop the skill of more enhanced awareness of your physical experiences. And this is really important because emotions, when you're feeling excited, when you're feeling scared, it's like a set of physical sensations in the body. We even say, I'm feeling tense, because the whole body like tenses up, right? And when you're feeling excited, what is someone like? They're like, yeah. You see them expressing it through their physical body. So you can use your emotions as information, as clues that tell you, are you on track? It's like your own internal GPS system. But the fact is that in life, if we don't know our purpose, then, or other people are inputting into our own GPS where it is we should be going, well, then we may end up going where they want us to go, but that might not be where we want to go. So I would love for you to start to also frame your emotions as being your friends. They are so helpful. They're like clues, hints, tips that help to guide you. So if you are ever feeling frustrated or angry or annoyed, instead of continuing to project that onto someone else and being like, they made me feel this way, I can't believe they're doing that, they're such a whatever, it's like, actually, this is really useful information. This is telling me what I don't want things to be like. And when I shared earlier about your purpose being like, well, what do you love to do? If answering that question is kind of tough, not a lot of inspiration comes up, what you can do instead, which is really useful, is to ask yourself, what do I not like? What am I like? No, I do not like that. In terms of how do you want your life to be? And knowing that, so it's like, I don't like working really long hours. I don't like not having time for my friends and family. I don't like not being able to exercise. I don't like rushing what I eat. I don't like not being able to go to nature. Once I know those things, that's like a jumping off point to flip it around and go, well, what do I love? And so you can actually start to become a lot more familiar with what's important to you, and to keep following those clues about what feels good, because what feels good is ultimately going to be in line with your purpose. It's going to be in harmony with your being. I shared at the start, there were all these, completely unique individuals, and your gifts, the things that you are just naturally really good at in life, explore more of that. We so often overlook them, and we think, I need to focus on my weaknesses. I need to get better at these things that I'm maybe you don't actually really enjoy, but you feel like you have to, because you feel judged if you're not doing it. And that's not to say that we shouldn't continue to work on ourselves. We definitely should. But starting to have a more awareness of what do you really love doing, and also what are your gifts? What are you naturally good at in life? Those are the things that you really want to work with, because when you're in flow in that way, when you're doing the things that you love, things don't feel like work, because you're just intuitively, naturally, following what it is that you were designed to do, that you're here to do, in terms of your DNA, your programming. Like, you're just expressing yourself intuitively through this mind body that's orientated in a certain way. So that's where meditation can help us tap into the feelings, which are the clues that tell you you're on track. And when we're not feeling good, instead of becoming emotionally involved in that and feeling frustrated or lost or frightened or depressed or anxious, we can go, this is like a rumble strip on the motorway or highway. It's letting me know I'm not on course. And so it's understanding we don't want to pathologize the human experience, as in we don't want to tell ourselves there's something wrong with me, I'm not doing well, I'm not a good person, or I'm failing. It's like, no. You're doing awesome, really. And it's a tricky thing, life, for sure. But we can use this as information to help guide us. And this is where meditation can help to bring that mental clarity, to help you to be more aware of your emotions. And just like how we were visualizing, the clothes on the body, you can start to visualize how you want your life to be, so we can use all of these skills in meditation to really help us day to day. And this is what I do. This is what I'm doing for myself. And this is how I work with other people as well. And it's amazing. And it's a constant journey of remembering who you really are. It's often a lot of unlearning, but it is an exciting adventure, and that's for sure. So as we're coming towards the end of our session, I wanted to share with you a really beautiful quote, which hopefully kind of encapsulates what we've been uncovering here together today. So I'll just bring that up for you now and read this quote together. When you are inspired by some great purpose, some extraordinary project, all your thoughts break their bonds. Your mind transcends limitations. Your consciousness expands in every direction. And you find yourself in a new, great, and wonderful world. Dormant forces, faculties, and talents become alive, and you discover yourself to be a greater person by far than you ever dreamed yourself to be. So I would love for you to think about, what is your purpose? Why are you here? What do you love doing? And give yourself permission to explore what that new, great, and wonderful world looks like for you. And trusting that all the people, resources, skills, those faculties, forces, talents, all of that will come to you at the right time and when you need it. And know that you are this amazing person, so much greater than you ever dreamed yourself to be. So that brings us to the end of today's session, and also the end of the 4 sessions together. And on the live stream, my side, it's been a bit patchy sometimes. So if the video's been interrupted at certain points, then thank you for staying with it and being patient. This is another great thing that meditation does in terms of cultivating patience. So thank you for being here. And I'll just finish with some information about me, if you want to keep in touch, because it would be great to stay connected. So I'll just bring up some information for you now. So you're welcome to take a photo or a screenshot of this. So my name is BRIONY GUNSON, and there's my email address. And actually that QR code takes you to a Facebook group where I'm going to be unpacking all of these ideas in more detail and giving you tools that you can use to explore more about your purpose, your vision, and then turning those into goals. So that brings us to the end now. So we have done a few different sessions together, understanding the basics of meditation, understanding the mind-body connection. We were talking about the power of presence last week. And then today we've brought it all together with purpose and vision. So all that's left to say is such a big thank you. Also a big thank you to Platinum List Live as well. They've been really amazing. And yeah, wish you well on your journey, and hopefully our paths will cross again soon. Thank you.